Hi guys, welcome back to Riderbook TV and welcome to the 2022 Jaguar F Pace P400e Hybrid. Before we take this car for a drive, let's just recap some of the changes that have happened quite recently to the Jaguar F Pace. I'm not going to go into too much detail because we already have done a full walk and talk of the newer facelift Jaguar F Pace, and if you want to see that video, use the link in the top of the screen. We've got a different grille. It's like a nice honeycomb effect here. The lights, the LED lights on the front look a little bit more aggressive. They've almost got a little bit of an eyebrow thing going on. It just looks more muscular, more aggressive, not quite as soft as the one that came before, and I absolutely love the look of this new car, especially in this colour. It looks absolutely wonderful. I think the small changes they've made to the exterior of this car, especially the front, have really improved it overall. And I think they've just made it much crisper, much more modern all the way around. The front is more angular, the rear has some new sculpted rear lights, and you also don't get exhaust pipes on any of these cars other than the SVR now. Side profile is pretty much exactly the same, but what can you see on this car that determines that it's a hybrid? There are effectively only two things on this car that determine that it's a hybrid that you can see visually. Firstly is the badge on the back down here. It says P400e. That E on the end means everything. And then on this side, it looks like the fuel filler tank, but no, you open this up and it's the charging port. Now this is actually one of the only plug-in hybrids that can be charged through a DC rapid charge, as well as a normal AC charge or at home, which should make charging this car far quicker. The major changes though to this newer shape of F Pace come inside. They really have spent a lot of time redesigning the interior of this car. We've got a new steering wheel. This was first seen, I believe, on the I-Pace, and ever since I've wanted it on the rest of the range, and now it is. It feels fantastic, it looks great, and the metal gear selectors behind it, can you hear that? Proper metal, they feel absolutely fantastic. We've now got the latest Pivi Pro infotainment system, which is so quick and so responsive. This particular car has fantastic specifications. So we've got panoramic sunroof, we've got Alcantara headlining, we've got the Meridian sound system in here, and we've also got these SVR-esque seats, which are absolutely wonderful to sit in and look fabulous at the same time. They really have stepped on the game of the interior of the F Pace. The display directly in front of me is so crisp, so great to look at. Everything you feel, everything you touch feels really high quality as well, from the leathers to the metals. Even the plastics that are in this car feel really, really high quality. But that's enough of that. As I already mentioned, we've already done a walk and talk of the new F Pace. So let's now start this car up and go for a drive to see what it's like as a hybrid and run through some of the stats. So let's start our drive with some facts. The F Pace P400e features a 2-litre 4-cylinder petrol up front and a bank of batteries in the back. When they both work together, we've got just under 400 brake horsepower, which means that the 0 to 62 mile an hour sprint time is just 5.3 seconds, and it's claimed to get over 100 miles per gallon, which is incredible. I've always really liked the F Pace, and I think that turning it into a hybrid has just enhanced that appeal. Because we're moving with the times, obviously the thumping V8 in this in the SVR is fabulous. It's one of the all-time great engines in my opinion, but we have to move forwards. And I think that hybrids are such a great little stepping stone between full petrol power and electric power. If you don't want to go full electric with an I-Pace, I think this is a great middle ground. But how does it drive? Well, I've got to be honest, it feels very, very familiar. It feels exactly like the F Pace that I drove a few years back, and if you want to see that video, use the link in the top of the screen. So the steering feels nice and responsive. The ride isn't so soft that you don't feel bumps, but I don't want that in a Jaguar. I want to still be able to feel like I'm in charge of this car. I don't want to waft over everything and just it be soft and wallowy. It's not. It actually has a bit of a sporty edge to this car, which is exactly what I want. It's still got that Jaguar DNA in the car. Now, I've already touched on the interior and so on, but it is glorious, and these seats are absolutely fantastic. The updates that they've made to this car for the new model years is amazing. They've really brought it in line with the new Jaguar design language. The steering wheel is wonderful, the dashboard is nice and crisp, and they've just updated it, and all the updates that they've done are really good and really well received. Drives well. I think it looks fantastic as well. I think the F Pace has aged phenomenally well. It's still a very good looking car, and it's still a great option in the ever-growing SUV market, and even more so now that it's available as a plug-in hybrid. Now, of course, with it being a hybrid, you obviously get that 400 horsepower and etc., but it means that it can also drive on electric power alone. The claimed range is around 33 miles, which, if you think about daily commutes, most people will be able to do their daily commutes just on electric power alone in this car. I mean, that's the benefit of hybrids. You get really good miles per gallon, and if you charge it at home, plug it in at home overnight, it'll charge. You can then just do your commute in electric. Think of the fuel that you'll save by having a hybrid. I think right now, I think hybrid is a really great alternative to fully internal combustion engine cars. So, what are my final thoughts on the Jaguar F Pace P400e hybrid? Well, I think that being a hybrid hasn't taken any of the appeal away from the already pretty appealing Jaguar F Pace. I think the updates they've done make it look a little bit better. The interior is much better. I think they've just improved the car in every single way. And if you're after quite a stylish, well-built hybrid that drives incredibly well, look no further than the F Pace hybrid. Thank you guys ever so much for watching. If you'd like any more details on the Jaguar F Pace hybrid, or any Jaguar for that matter, please use the link in the description of the